My wife secretly took a 14-day trip with her work husband. When she got home, I asked one question that stopped her cold. Do you even know what he's sick with? She rushed to the doctor, but it was already too late. Sup Reddit. So my wife came home from 2 weeks of medical recovery, moving like an Olympic athlete. I am not stupid, so I know what a scam looks like when I see one. Before I said anything, I asked her one simple question about her coworker Adrian. Do you know what illness he has? She went ghost white and ran straight out the door. I, 38 male, met my wife Marcella, 37 female, at a company softball game back in 2013. I was there supporting a buddy from work. She was repping Sterling Capital's team. She hit a line drive that nearly took my head off in the bleachers. Bought me a soda after to apologize. We got married 8 months later. 10 years. That's what we built together. Started in a cramped apartment in the suburbs. Worked our way up to a house with a 2-car garage and that marble kitchen she just had to have. I did my thing working insurance fraud claims while she climbed the ladder at Sterling. We weren't perfect. She thought my job was too blue collar. I thought her corporate world was fake as anything. But we made it work. I spent weekends fixing up the house, took a trip to Hawaii for our 10th anniversary, talked about maybe getting a dog once things settled down. I worked on my old man's Camaro in the garage. She worked late at the office. We were solid. Saturday, November 8th, 9:17 a.m. Marcella's Lexus pulled into the driveway with that expensive purr. I was under the Camaro changing oil when I heard her heels click across the concrete. Didn't look up right away. Was watching a drop of synthetic slide down the drain pan when I noticed something that made me go real still inside. Tan line on her left wrist. Clean rectangle where a watch or bracelet should have been. Except Marcella never took off her Cartier. Wedding gift from her parents. Wore it every single day for 10 years. Hey, I'm home, she called out, voice bright and chipper. Too chipper. Goodness! 2 weeks of medical leave and the house is still standing. Color me shocked. Medical leave. Right. Outpatient procedure for some benign cyst removal. Then 2 weeks of recovery that conveniently overlapped with her firm's annual corporate retreat in Charleston. She'd explained it all carefully 3 weeks ago. Pre-approved by her doctor. Coordinated with HR. Nothing to worry about. I wiped my hands and stood up. How'd the procedure go? Fine. Easy. In and out. She was already heading for the door. Designer bag swinging. I'm exhausted, though. Gonna shower and crash. Doctor give you any aftercare instructions? She stopped. Turned. What? You know. Post-op stuff. Pain meds, wound care, follow-up appointments. The usual. Oh. Yeah. It's all standard. Nothing crazy. She waved her hand dismissively. I'll fill you in later. Need that shower. Gone before I could ask which arm they'd operated on. Because here's the thing about Marcella. When she's stressed or lying, she talks with her hands. A lot. Both hands. Full range of motion. For someone who supposedly had minor surgery 10 days ago, she moved like a CrossFit instructor. Went inside and grabbed the tablet we kept on the kitchen counter for shared stuff. Grocery lists, calendar, that kind of thing. Notifications were piling up. One caught my eye immediately. Text from CVS Pharmacy. Your prescription is ready for pickup. Marcella. Huh. Weird. She hadn't mentioned picking up any prescriptions. Hadn't mentioned pain meds at all. I checked the date. Sent yesterday. While she was still on medical leave. Opened the shared email inbox we used for bills and household stuff. Scrolled through 2 weeks of unopened mail. Found what I was looking for buried between Costco ads and credit card offers. Insurance paperwork from October 24th. The day before Marcella supposedly had her procedure. I opened it. No surgery. Just a routine checkup. I sat there staring at the screen while something cold spread through my chest. Checked our joint health account next. The one we used for medical expenses and got tax breaks on. Last transaction was 2 weeks ago. $847.52 to the sanctuary at Charleston. I looked it up. 5-star boutique spa hotel. Couples massage packages. Private beach access. Romance suites. Not exactly the kind of place you recover from outpatient surgery. Kept scrolling. More charges. Uber rides in Charleston. High-end restaurants. A jewelry store called Meridian and Company that specialized in custom engraving. All dated during her supposed recovery period. All charged to our joint health account. The account we were supposed to use for legitimate medical expenses. The one with tax advantages. The one that required documentation proving purchases were actually health-related. She'd charged personal vacation expenses to our tax-advantaged medical account. And she'd done it while cheating on me. I closed the laptop, sat in our kitchen, and felt something click into place. I work in insurance fraud claims. Not gonna lie, it's boring work most days. Medical claims, fake injuries, people staging car accidents for payouts. But you do it long enough and you develop a nose for when someone's running a scam, when the story's too polished, when the details are a little too convenient. Marcella's medical leave was setting off every alarm bell I had. Called a divorce attorney first. What I'm hearing, he said, is potential infidelity combined with benefits fraud. That correct? Yeah. Document everything you can legally access. Joint accounts, shared devices, anything with your name on it. Do not access her personal accounts, her work email, or anything requiring her password. That's potentially illegal and will hurt you in court. Got it. If she used pre-tax medical funds for non-medical expenses, that's IRS territory. File separately this year. And if you have evidence she defrauded the company's benefit system, companies take leave abuse seriously. So I should collect what you can legally access. Talk to me again once you have a complete picture. Don't confront her yet. Don't make threats. Crystal hung up and spent the next 4 hours going through everything. Joint accounts, shared logins, every piece of paperwork with both our names on it. Picture came together fast. Marcella requested medical leave on October 21st. Found the approval email in our shared inbox. Her actual doctor's appointment was October 24th, a routine annual exam according to the insurance paperwork. Nothing surgical. Nothing that would need 2 weeks of recovery. Then the Charleston charges started on October 25th. Rideshare from the airport at 2:17 p.m. After that, it was a parade of nonsense. $847.52 at the Sanctuary Spa Hotel. Nearly $1,000 at Hall's Chop House across 4 separate dinners. $285 at Meridian and Company Jewelers. Spa treatments, expensive dinners, more rideshares, all of it charged to our joint health account like she thought nobody would ever look. Over $3,200 total. The retreat itself ran October 26th through November 6th according to Sterling's website. 12 days. Marcella had claimed 14 days of medical leave. She'd padded the timeline to squeeze out extra days with whoever she was with. Pulled up Sterling's LinkedIn. They'd posted photos from the retreat. Marcella was front and center in half of them. Formal dress at the opening dinner, business casual at some team-building thing, laughing at a beachfront reception. And in every single shot, standing right next to her with his hand somewhere near her lower back, was Adrian, senior analyst, divorced, black Audi, the guy she'd been collaborating with on the Morrison account for 6 months. Zoomed in on one of the photos. Marcella's left wrist was clearly visible. New bracelet, delicate gold thing, definitely not her Cartier. October 27th, 2 days into the retreat, she'd charged $285 to Meridian and Company. Didn't even need to dig that hard for the rest of it. 6 months earlier, I'd met Adrian's ex-wife Sabine at a charity thing Sterling sponsored. Marcella had dragged me along for appearances. Sabine and I ended up talking near the silent auction table while our spouses did their corporate networking routine. She wasn't dramatic about it. Tired. Mentioned almost offhand that Adrian had a health situation and that disclosure was always an issue with him. Didn't elaborate. Said the word disclosure like it was a court filing and left it at that. At the time, I filed it away as not my problem. Watching my wife grin beside him on a beach during her recovery, it stopped being someone else's problem. I pulled up Sabine's number from my phone. We'd exchanged contact info that night in case our spouses needed to coordinate schedules. Never used it. Until now. She answered on the 3rd ring. Hello. Hey, Sabine. Got a weird question for you. Okay. Adrian, that health situation you mentioned at the charity event. Is it something transmissible? Contagious? Long pause. Thought she'd hung up. Why are you asking me this? Because I think my wife spent 2 weeks with him in Charleston, and I need to know if she's walking around with something she doesn't know about. Another pause. Then quietly, it's not something you catch from a handshake. He's dodgy about disclosure and testing. Makes it everyone else's problem instead of his own. Always has been. So does she even know to ask? That's what I'm testing. Smart. She laughed. Bitter. Cold. You're smarter than I was. I ignored the red flags for years. Good luck with whatever you're doing. Thanks. Hung up. Sat there with the phone in my hand. I wasn't trying to diagnose anybody. I was testing whether my wife even asked. Downloaded every photo. Saved every receipt. Started building a 3-ring binder like it was a case file. Because it was. Sunday morning. Marcella came downstairs while I was making coffee. Got a meeting with the Morrison account tomorrow? She said without looking at me. Probably running late. Don't wait up. I poured myself coffee. How's Adrian doing these days? She went still. For a second. then resumed applying mascara like nothing happened. Fine, I guess. Why? Curious. You two spend a lot of time on that account. Figured you'd know. We're professional colleagues. I don't track his personal life. Right. Professional. I took a sip of coffee. Hey, random question. Did your doctor mention anything about your recovery? Like, things to avoid? Standard stuff. No heavy lifting for a week. Keep the incision dry. Why? Where's the incision? She stopped. Mascara wand frozen halfway to her face. What? The incision. From the cyst removal. Where is it? On my arm. Why are you asking me this? Which arm? Geez, what is this? An interrogation? She capped the mascara and shoved it in her bag. My left arm. Upper left arm. It's small, barely visible. Can we not do this right now? I have things to do. Sure. One more thing, though. I set down my coffee, kept my voice casual. Do you know what illness Adrian has? I didn't know what Adrian had. I only knew his ex used the word disclosure like it was a court filing. But I didn't need to know. I needed Marcella to realize she didn't know either. The color drained from her face. Complete. Instant. Like someone pulled a plug. What? I stayed calm. Kept my voice level. Adrian, does he have any medical conditions you're aware of? Anything that might be, I don't know, contagious? Transmissible? What are you talking about? Simple question, Marcella. You spent 2 weeks in Charleston with your colleagues, including Adrian, wondering if anyone mentioned him being sick, having any health issues, anything I should be worried about. Her hand went to her throat. Classic tell. She did that when she was panicking. Why would you? How do I what? She grabbed her bag, phone, keys, moved toward the door like the house was on fire. I have to go. We'll talk later. Marcella. She stopped, didn't turn around. Before this gets bigger, I said quietly, tell me what happened. In Charleston, during your medical leave. Silence. Heavy. Thick. Could hear the refrigerator humming. Could hear her breathing. I had a procedure, she said finally. Voice tight. It was legitimate medical leave. I don't know what you think happened, but you're wrong. Am I? Yes. She turned. Eyes hard. Defensive. And I don't appreciate being accused of whatever this is. I've been a good wife to you for 10 years. A good partner. I don't deserve this paranoia. Show me the incision. What? Show me. Right now. The incision from your surgery. Should still be healing, right? Should have stitches, a bandage, something. Show me. She stared at me. I watched her calculate. Weigh her options. Decide how much lie she could get away with. I'm not doing this, she said. I'm not standing here letting you treat me like a criminal, because you've worked yourself into some jealous spiral. I'm late. We'll talk tonight. There was no surgery, Marcella. She froze. I checked the insurance paperwork. No surgery. Your annual exam on October 24th, one day before you left for Charleston. Same day Adrian left. Same hotel. Same dates. Over $3,200 charged to our joint health account for spa treatments, restaurants, jewelry. Want to explain how that's medically necessary? Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. No sound came out. Go to work, or the hospital, I don't care, I said. We'll talk when you get home. And Marcella? Whatever you're about to do, calling Adrian, coordinating stories, deleting evidence, don't. It's already too late. She ran. Literally ran to her car. Engine started. Tires squealed backing out of the driveway. I sat down with my coffee and watched the clock. She didn't run because I accused her of anything. She ran because she realized she'd exposed herself to something she never verified. And now she was doing the math on exposure windows. Later that morning, my insurance app pinged. New claim activity. Urgent care. Visit. That was fast. Checked my phone. Nothing from Marcella. But I noticed something interesting in our shared texts. She'd messaged Adrian 20 minutes after she left. I could see the preview notification sitting there from our tablet sync. We need to talk. Now. It's about your health situation. His response came 3 minutes later. One line. Handle it yourself. Don't drag me into this. That's when I knew exactly what kind of man my wife had thrown everything away for. The kind who ghosts when the consequences show up. The kind who protects his reputation before checking if someone's okay. She'd gambled our marriage on a guy who couldn't even be bothered to answer a phone call when it mattered. Within the week, my insurance app started lighting up with more activity. Labs billed. The clinic was efficient, I'll give them that. They'd mapped out her entire calendar before she even left the building. Months of waiting. Months of wondering. Every single test a coin flip she'd have to sit through alone, because the guy she'd done this with was already pretending he didn't know her. Took about an hour after the urgent care visit for me to make my next move. I pulled up the contact information for our health account benefits administrator. Called the fraud reporting line. Benefits compliance. How can I help you? I need to report fraudulent charges on account holder Marcella. Over $3,200 in non-medical expenses charged during a period of false medical leave. I'll need to gather some information. Are you an authorized user on this account? Joint account holder. My name is on the card. All right. Can you describe the fraudulent charges? Luxury hotel, restaurants, jewelry store, all charged during October 25th through November 6th, while the account holder claimed to be recovering from surgery. But there was no surgery, just a routine exam according to the insurance paperwork. I have all the documentation. Keyboard clicking. I'm pulling up the account now. Can you email the documentation to our fraud investigation department? Someone will review it and open a case file within a few business days. Already compiled. I can send it immediately. Please do. Include the insurance statements, the account charges, and anything else that demonstrates the charges weren't medically necessary. We take this seriously. Misuse of these funds is both a violation of the account terms and creates potential tax issues. Understood. Sending now. Spent the next 30 minutes uploading everything to their secure portal. Insurance statements, account charges, timeline, everything organized and labeled. Case submitted by early afternoon. Then I drafted the complaint to Sterling's HR. Leave fraud, false medical documentation, abuse of company benefits during a company event. Attached the same documentation showing she was healthy and active during the retreat while claiming medical recovery. Sent that through their secure HR portal shortly after. Then I sat back and waited. Monday morning, my phone rang. Sterling Capital's main line. Sir, this is Sterling Capital's HR department. We received your complaint and reviewed the attachments. We can't discuss personnel actions with anyone outside the company, but thank you for bringing this to our attention. Understood. Hung up. Around noon, Marcella came home, face blotchy from crying, eyes completely wrecked. She walked in and stood in the middle of our living room like she didn't know what to do with her hands. They suspended me, she said, voice flat, dead. Pending investigation into leave fraud and misuse of company resources. I didn't respond. Stood there with my coffee. Adrian, too. We're both suspended effective immediately. They're auditing everything. Every trip, every expense report, every leave request from the past 2 years. She looked at me, eyes desperate. How did they know? Did you call them? Yeah. You complete jerk. I provided documentation when they asked. That's not reporting. That's responding to an inquiry. The clinic, she continued, voice shaking. They said there was a window for time-sensitive meds. I missed it by almost 2 weeks. I nodded, took a sip of coffee. They drew blood, she said, handed me a stack of lab orders, follow-up appointments scheduled out for months. They can't tell me anything yet. Baseline tests, then waiting, then more tests, then more waiting. Her phone buzzed. She looked at it, face crumpled. Portal update. Can't tell anything yet? Requires more testing. She laughed. Bitter, wet, broken. They can't give me answers, can't rule anything in, can't rule anything out, so I get to wait and wonder for months while they run test after test after test. Adrian won't answer me, she said quietly. I've called him 12 times, texted him 20, nothing. He read every message, then he blocked me. Shocker. What's that supposed to mean? Means you picked a guy who ghosts when things get complicated. Real winner you got there. Congrats. Her phone buzzed again. She grabbed it desperately. Wasn't him. HR wants to meet tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. Formal interview about the leave request and the account charges. They said I should bring legal representation if I have it. Probably smart. This is our marriage. Our life together. Not some fraud case you can close with receipts and documentation. You made it a fraud case. October 21st. When you filed false medical leave. When you charged our health account for spa treatments and jewelry. When you lied to your employer, your insurance company, and the federal government. You did that, not me. I made a mistake. You made multiple felony-level problems. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern of deliberate deception. She put her head in her hands. Started crying. Full breakdown. Shoulders shaking. Mascara running down her face. I stood there with my coffee, watching, feeling absolutely nothing. Before you meet with HR tomorrow, I said, you should know something. I documented everything. Every charge. Every date. Every lie. The insurance paperwork showing no surgery. The retreat photos showing you healthy and active. The jewelry receipt. The account charges. All of it backed up in multiple locations and submitted to Sterling's benefits administrator. Why? She looked up at me. Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to destroy me? I'm not doing anything. You committed fraud. I stopped covering for you. Stopped pretending I didn't notice. The rest is consequences. Your consequences. Her phone lit up. Not Adrian. Her attorney's office. She answered, spoke quietly, hung up after 2 minutes. My lawyer says I need to prepare for termination. That benefits fraud is a terminable offense under Sterling's ethics policy. Civil penalties from the account administrator. Possible audit risk if the IRS decides the tax filings look suspicious. Sounds about right. You're going to let them destroy me? You're going to sit there and watch our entire life fall apart and do nothing? That's exactly what I will do. She stood up, grabbed her keys, phone, purse. Where are you going? Out. Away from you. I can't be here right now. I can't sit in this house with you looking at me like I'm some criminal you're processing. Marcella. She stopped at the door. Didn't turn around. When you get back, pack your things. You're not staying here. Not while the divorce is pending. Divorce? Filed Friday. You'll get served this week. She turned. Stared at me. Complete shock. You filed for divorce before you even asked me what happened? Before you gave me a chance to explain? I know what happened. You committed fraud to spend 2 weeks with Adrian. That's enough. I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you thought you'd get away with it. She left without another word. Engine started. Tires squealed. I sat down with my binder and added another tab. November 10th, suspension notification and divorce service. Added today's events. Her suspension, her panic, her admission that she filed false leave because it was easier than honesty. Her attorney's warnings about termination and penalties, documentation, timeline, evidence, clinical, professional, devastating. By the time she got back 3 hours later, I'd already started boxing up her things. Tuesday, November 11th, the day of her HR meeting. I was under the Camaro adjusting the timing belt when my phone started blowing up. 7 missed calls from Marcella. Then the text came through. They fired me. They fired Adrian. They're flagging the account distributions and issuing tax forms. This is your fault. Are you happy now? I stared at the message. Thought about 10 years. All the times I'd trusted her when she said she was working late. Typed back, congrats on your new hobby, waiting rooms. She called immediately. I declined. She called again. Declined. Third time I answered, please. I'll lose my professional license. The IRS investigation could take years. They could press charges if they think we falsified documents. You've destroyed my entire life over one mistake. One mistake? You committed leave fraud, benefits fraud, and tax fraud. You planned it, executed it, charged it to our joint account. That's not one mistake. That's a pattern of criminal behavior. I was trying to protect our marriage. I knew if I told you about the retreat, you'd be suspicious about Adrian. I had to laugh. You protected our marriage by committing multiple felonies to spend 2 weeks in a luxury hotel with another man. Interesting definition of protection. I love you. Adrian was a mistake, a moment of weakness. Then why'd you keep choosing him? When I asked about his health situation, you didn't come to me. You ran straight to him, texted him, called him, begged him to answer. That's not a moment of weakness. That's a series of deliberate choices. Silence. What do you want me to do? She said finally. Voice small. Nothing. You made your choices. Now you're living with the consequences. This is our marriage, not some insurance fraud case you can close and move on from. You're right. Marriage isn't supposed to be a case file. But you turned it into one the second you started calculating how to get away with fraud. You treated our entire life together, like something to exploit. Friday, October 24th, I interrupted. You told me the surgery was scheduled for the 25th. You looked me right in the eye and lied. That wasn't something that happened. That was premeditated deception. I was scared of losing you. I needed time to figure out what I wanted, to decide if I wanted to stay in this marriage or what? Trade up? See if Adrian was a better option before you burned any bridges? Silence, which was answer enough. So you committed 3 kinds of fraud to buy yourself thinking time, to keep me as backup while you test drove another relationship. How'd that work out? She was crying now. Please tell me what I can do to make this right. You can't fix it. You didn't cheat. You turned our marriage, your career, and our financial accounts into tools for deception. And you did it so thoroughly that when anyone looked, they found fraud at every single level. So you're going to let them destroy me? Let the IRS investigate? Let Sterling ruin my career? They're not destroying you. They're holding you accountable for crimes you committed. You destroyed yourself. I'm refusing to go down with you. She hung up. I stood in my garage and felt absolutely nothing. No satisfaction, no anger, empty. The particular kind of exhaustion that comes from watching someone you trusted reveal they were never who you thought they were. Saturday morning, Marcella's representative called. Sir, my client would like to discuss a settlement. She's willing to waive any claim to your pension or retirement accounts in exchange for you not pursuing civil damages related to the account fraud. She wants me to cover the fraud she committed so she can avoid paying restitution. Given the ongoing federal investigation and potential criminal charges, dragging this out helps no one. My client is facing significant financial penalties already. Adding a civil suit would essentially bankrupt her. Tell her representative to communicate directly with my attorney. All communication goes through him from now on. Sir, I think we're done. Hung up. Called my attorney immediately. They called you too? He asked. Yeah. She wants me to eat the account fraud in exchange for not claiming my retirement accounts. That's not a terrible deal. The IRS penalties alone will financially destroy her. You might never see restitution even if you pursue it. I don't care about the deal. I care about consequences that stick. If I agree to waive the account fraud, she gets to tell everyone it was a misunderstanding, that I was being vindictive. She gets to rewrite the narrative. I'm not giving her that option. He sighed. All right, it's your call. But this is going to make the divorce longer and more expensive. Let her fight. I've got documentation for everything. That night, I drove to Sabine's apartment, Adrian's ex-wife. We'd been meeting for coffee every few weeks since this started, comparing notes, finding dark humor in our mutual destruction. Heard Sterling fired them both, she said. Yeah, IRS investigation too. Good. She poured 2 glasses of water. Adrian called me yesterday. First time in 8 months. Wanted to know if I'd testify on his behalf. To tell HR and the IRS that this was all Marcella's idea. That she seduced him. What did you say? That he should stop calling me before I add harassment to his list of problems. She raised her glass. To men who think they're untouchable until the paperwork catches up with them. And women who think fraud is romantic. We clinked glasses. You doing okay? She asked. No, but I will be. Yeah, takes time, but you'll get there. We talked until midnight. When I left, I felt lighter somehow. Like maybe there was a path forward that didn't involve drowning in bitterness. The IRS investigation took 8 months. Marcella and Adrian both ended up settling for 5-figure penalties, plus back taxes, plus interest, plus administrative fees. Over $40,000 each. Sterling's benefits administrator filed civil suits for full restitution of the account fraud. Both settled within 3 months. Another $15,000 each. The divorce took longer. Marcella fought everything. Every asset. Every piece of furniture. Every kitchen appliance. She dragged it out month after month, hoping I'd get tired and give in. I didn't. Every few weeks, another notification would pop up on my insurance app. We were still on the same plan until the divorce finalized. Another claim coming through. Another lab service billed. Another set of results that said nothing definitive. Week 2. Follow-up visit claim processed. Week 6. Another blood draw billed. Week 12. Additional testing recommended. Results inconclusive. Month 4. Continue monitoring. Follow-up required. Month 5. Retest scheduled. See patient portal for details. Each notification was its own little psychological grenade. Not an answer. Another question. Another coin flip. Another reminder that she'd thrown everything away for a guy who'd blocked her number the second things got complicated. She'd done this to herself. For a guy who'd responded to her panic with, "Handle it yourself," and then disappeared. Every time she walked into that clinic, every time she rolled up her sleeve for another needle, every time she refreshed that portal, hoping for something definitive instead of inconclusive, that was the real consequence. Not the job loss, not the money, not even the divorce. The calendar. The waiting. The not knowing. Funny how the health savings account only feels medical when you need it for something medical. While she was doing that, I was doing paperwork. The binder got thicker. More tabs, more documentation, more attorney meetings. I treated the divorce exactly like a claims case. Organized, methodical, emotionless. August 2026. Nearly 2 years after everything started. Judge signed the final decree. Clean split. House went to me since I'd been making the mortgage payments solo since November 2024. Marcella got her retirement accounts. I got mine. No alimony either direction. Judge noted that Marcella's financial situation was self-inflicted through criminal conduct and declined to award her spousal support. She also got a criminal record. Misdemeanor fraud. Pleaded down from felony charges after months of negotiation. 12 months probation. 200 hours community service. Professional license suspended for 3 years minimum. Adrian got similar treatment. lost his job, lost his professional credentials. His divorce from Sabine got reopened when the IRS investigation revealed hidden assets. He ended up paying an additional $60,000 to Sabine on top of everything else. Last I heard from Sabine, he was working for some startup in Austin, entry-level role, making about a third of his old salary and living in a studio apartment. Marcella moved to Portland after the divorce finalized. Heard through the grapevine she was staying with her sister, trying to rebuild. Fresh start in a city where nobody knew her name or her case file. Me? I stayed at my job, got promoted to senior claims analyst about a year after the divorce finalized. Got a raise. Got assigned to train new investigators. Kept working on the Camaro in my spare time. But my peace didn't last for too long. I was under the Camaro when someone knocked on the garage door. The side entrance, the one only Marcella used to use. Didn't need to look to know who it was. Slid out. Opened the door. She was standing there in jeans and a t-shirt, hair pulled back. No makeup. Looked tired. "Hey," she said. "Marcella, can we talk?" I wiped my hands on a rag. Didn't invite her in. "Test results came back clean," she said. "Everything. No infections, nothing. Doctors said it was all paranoia. False alarm. Congratulations. Want a trophy?" She flinched. "I came here because I realized I made a huge mistake. What I had with you was real. I want to fix this. Please." "Fix what exactly? The 10 years you threw away? Or just your current housing situation?" "I'm serious. I know I messed up. I know what I did was wrong. But I'm here now. That has to count for something." I leaned against the doorframe. "You're here now because you literally have nowhere else to go. Let's not pretend this is some grand romantic gesture." Her eyes started watering. "That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair? That's rich. I'm trying to apologize. You're trying to move back in. There's a difference." "I don't have anything left," she said quietly. "Everything's gone. My job, my apartment, everything. I need help." "Yeah, I know." She looked up sharply. "What?" I said I know. You don't have anything. Adrian blocked you. Sterling fired you. IRS took everything. Your apartment lease is up. You're broke. I know all of it. How? Sabine still talks to people at Sterling. Word travels fast when someone commits fraud. Everyone thinks it's hilarious. I've known for weeks. Her face went white. You knew? This whole time you knew? Yep. Which makes this little performance even more pathetic. You really thought you could show up here and pretend this was about love? About realizing what we had? Come on. You're here because you're desperate, and I'm the only person left who might be dumb enough to help. That's not true. It's completely true. If you had anywhere else to go, you'd be there right now. I'm not your first choice. I'm not even your second choice. I'm just the only choice you have left. Stop it. Stop what? Telling the truth? You came here 1 week after finding out you're medically in the clear. If those test results had been different, you'd still be in Portland ignoring my existence. You don't want me back. You want a safety net. She was crying now, voice shaking. After 10 years, you're going to be this cruel? You're really going to watch me lose everything? You already lost everything. I'm just not joining you in the wreckage. I need you. You need stability. You need a house. You need someone to pay your bills while you figure out your next move. What you don't need is me specifically. That's not true. Sure it is. If I was still in that studio apartment making 30 grand at the factory, you wouldn't be here. But I've got the house now. The promotion, the cars. Suddenly I'm worth a second chance. Funny timing. How can you say that? She was getting louder. Hysterical. I loved you. Past tense. Notice that. I still love you. No. You love what I represent right now. A solution to your problems. I'm not a person to you. I'm a life raft. Please. She was sobbing. Please. I don't know what else to do. I can't afford to live anywhere. I can't find work. I don't have anyone else. Please. Just let me stay here until I get back on my feet. Not happening. Just a few weeks. No. I'm begging you. And I'm saying no. You made your choices. You planned this for months. You committed fraud. You lied to everyone. You threw away 10 years for a guy who dumped you the second things got messy. Those are your consequences. Not mine. She stepped forward, grabbed my arm. You can't just leave me with nothing. I pulled my arm back. I didn't leave you with nothing. You did that yourself. I made one mistake. You made 100 mistakes. Every day for months. Every lie. Every night you spent with Adrian, while I thought we were building a life together. Those weren't mistakes. Those were choices. I'm different now. You're broke now. That's not the same thing. She was screaming at this point, Full meltdown. What do you want from me? I said I'm sorry. I admitted I was wrong. What else can I possibly do? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. Because I don't want anything from you. I don't want your apologies. I don't want your explanations. I don't want you here. You're just going to let me be homeless? You're not my responsibility anymore. You ended that when you committed tax fraud on our joint accounts. I have nowhere to go. Figure it out. You're resourceful. You managed to plan an entire affair and fraud scheme while working full-time. I'm sure you can manage a Craigslist roommate search. I hate you. Good. Now we're on the same page. She was shaking, makeup running down her face. You're the worst person I've ever met. And yet here you are, begging me to take you back. Really makes you think. I hope you end up alone. I'd rather be alone than be your backup plan. I stepped back inside, started closing the door. She lunged forward. Wait, please, I didn't mean that. Yeah, you did. And honestly, I hope I do end up alone. It's better than being with someone who only remembers I exist when she runs out of options. Closed the door, locked it, heard her pounding on it for about 30 seconds before she finally left. Went back to the Camaro, turned up the music, kept working. Life's pretty peaceful when you stop letting people treat you like their emergency contact. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.